Welcome to Life and Next podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Akiel.
Thank you. Nice to meet you too.
Yeah.
I mean, we have met.
Yeah, we have met.
Yeah.
We have met. We met the other day, didn't we, for the first time
Yeah.
properly? I think
I've seen you knocking about a few times.
Yeah. Fellow
was like-
tall person, I think.
Yeah,
It's one of
exactly.
those things.
I know.
Like, you're like,
No, and this is not to throw any shade. It's just there's not loads of tall people.
Well, no, like people are tall, but I think when
Why am
you
I
get,
saying that? Why?
it's fine, but I think it's once you get over like a certain, like 6'1" and 2",
Yeah.
I think you notice people more, don't you?
Exactly.
Like this guy on Menswear, like Buster, he's really
Yeah,
tall.
Buster's like, he's got a big presence as well.
Yeah. Good lad.
Yeah, he is a good kid.
Good lad.
I do like him.
Good lad. Trying to get him on the podcast, but he's doing a load of other stuff. So
Buster, if you're listening, we need you on the podcast.
we're coming for you. We're coming for you, Buster.
You know what the thing is? Funny actually, talking about being tall. When I play basketball though,
basketball
it's
player.
different. I'm not a tall one.
I wouldn't be tall either. No, you got guys, 6'7", 8"?
Yeah, and the rest.
Really?
So back in like National League, I think the biggest guy that we had at the time was about 6'11", maybe 7 foot.
Ooh.
Yeah, so he's just a tree, man. And it's like, how does that even happen?
That's
What were you eating?
Yeah,
You know?
that's interesting. And that's interesting as well. You said National League, so you play at a decent league?
No,
level then?
I used to. Not anymore.
Used to, yeah. When did that start?
What year are we in? 2024.
Yeah.
Maybe 3-4 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say I couldn't be bothered,
Yeah.
but
Lost the passion?
a little bit. I just kind of wanted to play for fun more, so
So it was kind of getting to the point
so,
where...
I was just like, I'm getting a bit older now. I'm not playing for anything, so just save my knees and just go play for fun instead.
Yeah, do you still do that though?
Yeah, I do now. Do still now.
Oh, nice.
Once a week, normally,
Oh, nice.
when I can be.
When you
again.
can be bothered.
Yeah. Sounds really bad. I sound like it's kind
No,
of lazy, isn't it?
Just laid back.
Yeah.
Just laid back.
That literally is me, to be fair.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that your personality type? Just
Yeah,
totally laid
it's
back?
like sometimes it can come across the wrong way, but I don't want it to. Because some people will be like, "Oh, you may be a bit too chilled," and it's not like that, really.
Yeah, but don't you think, like, especially even more so, like in a work environment, you need all of that? Because I think, I'm someone that I can have quite a lot of energy or be a little bit overactive.
Yeah,
But I need the other. If everyone was like that in the team, it'd just be chaos.
yeah. But, like, don't get it twisted. I do.
Yeah.
we definitely do have. I do like to have a laugh, and I do like to talk.
Yeah.
A lot of nonsense, to be honest. But generally, I think it's just not a lot tends to phase me too much, if that makes sense.
Good though.
No pun intended, by the way, if it's phasing. You see what I did there? No, I actually had no intention of doing that. But I think in an environment like this, it can be quite easy to start flapping because of the pace and the expectations. But I try and not let it get to me, to be honest.
Yeah. And that's a good point there. Is that something you definitely would say here? The pace is pretty full on.
Oh, it's insane, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Especially coming from where I was before to working in a place like this, it's like, it's two different worlds.
Yeah.
Completely.
Talk me through that then. How did you... So you're a stylist on Menswear.
Menswear coordination.
Yeah, nice. And how have you got to there? Like, where did you start then? Where did that stylist kind of journey sort of come from? So
prior to this, I was working at WorldGosh. It was like a little independent streetwear store, basically in Leicester.
It was a nice store.
It was.
It was a
so
nice store.
If you are from Leicester or you're local, you'll know, definitely.
Know it,
it was well and truly a grail of the city centre for a long time. It was around for about 35, 36 years, I think.
Yep.
So I started there in the shop floor. I think this was going back just post-COVID now. So once everything started to open back up, like shops and stuff, I landed a job in there, started on the shop floor, and then I moved over, I think maybe about 6 or 7 months after being on the shop floor, I moved over to do like warehouse stuff, so like goods in, a little bit of dispatch here and there. And we often used to do, what were they called? We used to call them WorldGosh wares. So it's like a staff pick, basically.
Like pick of the week almost. Yeah.
More or less.
Yeah.
Every week a staff member would get an outfit out and we'd showcase it on our social channels. Basically, it would be on the blog and on the website as well. And I think putting those things together really gave me like gave me a little bit of a buzz, really.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, okay, this is cool.
And what do you mean?
So,
sorry, what do you mean by like that buzz? Like because I think everyone gets a buzz in their industry, but what's it for styling? What's the buzz that you get?
when you put something together,
right.
you see it captured in an image.
Yeah.
And you're like, I did that.
Yeah. That's
that
good.
Was me.
That's good.
I mean?
Yeah.
Just the way it comes together, as long as everything obviously marries up, like the styling, along with the photography, location, etc., etc. I think just seeing it in all its glory, it's just like you get that sense of achievement.
Yeah, big time.
So it's really, really cool. So yeah, once I'd moved over to like warehouse dispatch, this was at a time where, because the business was bought by JD, you see. Pre-COVID.
Okay.
This was pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID.
Just before I started, more or less. I think it might have been a year or two before. There'll be other people that can tell you about it better than I can, to be honest. So basically how it needed to happen is we needed to kind of fall in line with how the rest of the group were working. So the likes of Hip, Oi Polloi, Tessuti, Scots, etc. So we needed a creative team for marketing purposes, obviously. We already had a couple of photographers because they did the e-com imagery. We just didn't have a stylist or like anyone to do like videography and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it was that moment where it was like, okay, we're going to need X amount of people to do this job. Akiel, we want you to do the styling. So I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So it was kind of right place, right time. But yeah, I owe it to them guys, because if it wasn't for them like believing in me, I wouldn't have even entertained it really or thought about the idea of doing it on a scale like this, especially.
Yeah.
To be honest, because it's, the amount of product that comes through our hands or through our doors, it's insanity. So
yeah, and I guess then you've taken what you've started there and come over to Next and done styling on there. And WorldGosh was menswear, wasn't it, as well? So you've basically lifted there, but I'm guessing, so the biggest thing you've just said there is the scale then, is it? Is that the total difference? Is it just...
I would say so.
Yeah. Well, just describe what makes it so big, like just for people to understand that maybe don't think, because I guess, the perception could be, just chucking a couple of outfits together, but it's a little bit more than that.
So you think, okay, so menswear as a whole, if we're just going clothing alone, you've got the likes of all the jersey teams, so that's t-shirts, polos, hoodies, sweatshirts, crew necks, knitwear, jeans,
accessories,
shirts,
suits,
and that's just to name a few basically.
And you've got
shoes,
and you've got to style all of that together,
more or less. So it's we have a moment where, so say for example, we're shooting January now.
Yeah.
So we've just had our February handover meetings. I think it was last week or the week before. February is a tiny phase, so it's a little bit of it's not a good example, but all of the teams on the floor will come and give us their product for the phase.
Brilliant.
Myself and Joe will go through and group it together and make sure it all sits together.
Yeah.
So it's a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Coordinated?
Yeah.
Succinct?
Yeah.
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 Looks good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, just to make sure it fits all together and makes sense in the story.
How are you doing that? Like, how are you... Because I can imagine when all the teams and the buy-in and teams are just going, here you go.
Yeah.
It's like, where do you start?
It's carnage.
Yeah, where do you
especially
start?
when it's like September, October.
With going into like the winter phases.
Yeah, that is like probably the biggest phase is also March as well. So you think I think for an example, I think knitwear had about 100 odd lines that they've given us. That's just knitwear.
And lines
for like October, November.
Product.
Yeah. So and we've got to then filter all of that. It kind of makes it easier once we start with, we'll pull out anything that's like N logo or signature. That kind of makes it a lot easier because that will all go on its separate shoot and get shot together anyway.
Okay.
Then after that, it's just about pulling together all the product that has been driven by certain meetings that we have for example, like design presentation. So we've actually had it today as well.
Oh, wicked.
So we're now talking about autumn winter 25 and what the trends are going to be.
Sure.
So it's just like pulling out all the product that we can tell, okay, this is for that trend. We'll group it all together so it makes sense. And then once we have a model booked, it's all going to look cohesive and like it's going to make sense.
And when you're styling that then, are you, I was going to say, is it always for a model or is it?
Yeah, so we'll know who it is more or less before we start.
Yeah.
Doesn't always tend to be the case because sometimes, because we'll put options in. So we'll have 2 people that we're thinking about booking.
Yeah.
But obviously if one's not available, then we'll put it on the other. So we do definitely have that in mind. You have to, I guess, because it's all well and good putting an outfit together, but it might not look good on
a certain person.
Yeah. Which is why we'll shoot certain people in certain things.
Oh, okay. Because for example, just picking up that, that guy looks good in polos.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he looks good in polos, he can wear polos.
Yeah. So like for active as well, somebody that's in like relatively good shape.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense, right? Because it's like gym wear. And stuff like that. So.
Oh yeah, there's next active as well. Yeah.
Which are actually doing pretty well, to be fair. They've got some decent things coming.
It?
Yeah.
That's grown.
From what I understand, yeah. I've only been here a year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Because I know because I've been here a while. I know they did like loads of variations of active and tried different things, but then it was probably about, let's say maybe 3 years ago, maybe 4 years, probably even longer, 4 years ago, they really got it. Just all of a sudden, it just felt like the whole collection and the whole way it was shot and everything just
kind of went on like did a swivel basically.
Yeah, and was like, all right, this is how we should be doing it. This looks good. So
I think it's when you find that formula, that's what that's another thing that's quite fulfilling, to see how things. Once you go through all that big period of trial and error, because that's what a lot of this is, to be honest. I'm not saying that I get it right every time because I definitely don't. I try, but it's just in an ideal world that would be that's how it would go, but it doesn't. So once you start to figure things out and think, oh yeah, that works and this works and for that, and it just makes it so much more rewarding, I guess. Definitely.
Is that the thing that motivates you most of styling, is kind of going right back to like what you said before, why you got into it, seeing it to be like, oh, I've put that together.
Yeah,
still,
definitely.
even now, still on a mass scale, you're like, I guess you're just getting more of those moments though. Yeah, right
definitely.
Now.
I think, especially when we see things that are shot, for example, edit.
Yes.
Obviously, it's kind of that younger person that it's kind of catered to, so it's a bit closer to me. Well, even though it doesn't feel like I'm that young anymore, but I am. I'm still relatively young.
I can categorically tell you, you are young. You are young. Well done. You're young.
30 soon. So it's when you see things like that get kind of like a lot of money put behind it, and it comes to fruition, and you're like, yeah, that's cool, because it gets. The more money put behind it, obviously it's gonna get put in more people's faces.
Yeah.
Well, theoretically anyway. So, for example, when you go in store and you see the graphics, like an edit shoot on or something like that, and you look at it and you go,
I was on that.
Exactly.
Was on that. Yeah.
Which is, again, it's so cool.
And as well,
it's hard to explain the feeling, really.
But it is. It's the buzz, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's the buzz. I think, I guess, it'll be a similar thing for like, you'll have that one shoot, the photographer will get a buzz from it.
Yeah.
You will. Mm-hmm. The buyer, the merch, the designer, the technologist, the marketing team that have put it all together.
Everyone. Anyone that's put their hands on that
will be getting a buzz from it. But do you feel like then that's a good example, isn't it, of how we're all kind of feeling? It's not, no one kind of goes, oh, I just did all that.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a one person thing. And that's absolutely not like the case.
No.
Because it has to go through so many hoops to actually get to that end point. So, like you said, it starts with the idea initially for the product, of course.
Which without that, nothing's happening.
without that, I can't without them doing that, I can't then turn around and say, oh yeah, like I was part of that, because again, it's has to go through all its steps, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So you're on Menswear, and you've said you've been there a year.
Yeah.
What's kind of been the biggest thing like you've learned since coming into Next?
That's a good question. Since coming to Next, that is a very, very good question. Put me on the spot.
Oh, have I?
Yeah. I would say that it's okay to actually have a voice. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
And when you speak, do it with conviction, basically.
Nice.
I'd say. Because sometimes you can, it's quite easy to, depending on how you are, naturally, a lot of people would never guess this, but I'm a bit more of a reserved person. I'm never really the loudest in the room. And I think sometimes I may project like I am, but I'm actually not. A bit more introverted. So sometimes when you say things, you almost get a little sense of like imposter syndrome, because you're like, oh, I don't actually know if I've got a voice here, to be honest. But I think people can definitely smell that from a mile off. So if you're saying it with conviction and you believe it genuinely, I think people respect that more.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the biggest thing.
I think everyone can relate to the imposter syndrome, though. I think that comes in all different shades.
Oh yeah, definitely, massively.
It can come from starting in a new business, or even, I've had it at points when I've progressed and I'm like, hang on, I was doing, I think we were chatting before.
Yeah.
I used to do like loads of social media stuff, and I was like, I was just so in love with it, and like still am, like so ingrained in it. I used to walk around campus and people would be like, oh God, here he is, what does he want? And like, Jesus.
I think that's still the general vibe, to be honest. When social content needs to get shot,
yeah,
a lot of people are like hiding away because they don't want to do it. But
hiding away. But
I'll do it. I'll give it a go. What have I got to lose, really?
Exactly.
Nothing.
I think that's it. I think that it is funny. It's funny because then you feel like I'm just trying to do my job, guys, and everyone's like, oh. But I think I went from that to then doing something a little bit more different, employer branding and getting a team. And you're like, oh, I'm not doing that thing I was really loving and enjoying anymore.
Yeah. Would you say you love and enjoy it now? Or?
Oh, yeah. I think you learn to... I think for me, I like a new challenge loads anyway, and I love like pushing it. And like, as my team, I love pushing the boundaries, keep going for it, keep growing.
I think that's important as well in a space like this, to be honest. To remain, keeps it exciting, doesn't it? Keeps it fresh.
Massively. I think on the other flip side, it's funny actually, I had a meeting yesterday with my director, and we were all sitting there and we're analysing some of the content that we were putting out. And like, some of it wasn't doing
content as in like video content or like this podcast kind of content.
What were we talking about? No, we're talking about the intranet. So that's one of the things that sits under me. The intranet's kind of like leveled off.
Yeah.
And they were like, and I was like, oh, well, we need to do this. And the director was like, yeah, but there's going to come a point, Matt, where you just can't you can't always just keep improving it. And there was two other managers in there who know what I'm like, and they just started laughing. And he's like, what? I'm like, well, I'll never stop doing that. Like, I will always want to improve. Of course. You've got to, though. It's just in my nature. I think
that's good, though, because it shows a lot about you as a person. Like, you're obviously driven and you want that next best thing. You're always chasing it. I think that's important, 100%. Definitely.
I think it's important but what I've learned from that is not to then, I want the next best thing, but also I've got to appreciate what I'm doing in the moment.
100%.
Because I think sometimes I can be thinking about the next best thing all the time.
And you lose focus on what's in front of you, right?
Yeah, and you're like, why am I not enjoying this?
Yeah.
Come on, Matt. Like, you should be enjoying this a bit more.
Because you're thinking about how many years ahead or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I think I've definitely over the last couple of years, like, enjoy that moment more. Enjoy the moments you're in. Like doing this now, I'm not thinking, oh, what am I doing later, or how's this going to perform? I'm just like, I just want to enjoy this conversation.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, definitely, it's really good.
How long have you been here?
15 years.
15 years. Okay.
15 years.
So question for you then.
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing it.
No, I like it.
I'm the captain now. I guess like for a piece of advice that I'm seeking slightly.
Ooh.
Maybe. Obviously, you've done your fair share and you've done a good tenure, right? How would you say, or what is something that's important to you that you've learned that means you've been able to do and achieve what you have done this far and actually, you know, remain and have a place here, basically?
Ooh, that is a good question.
No.
Spinning it now. You've been like, he asked me a really
we can have a
one.
cut. We can come back to it. Let's just pause.
Yeah, no, it's a good one. I think piece of advice to say to kind of, you know, keep growing here all the time and keep evolving yourself is kind of just look for those opportunities. I think a lot of people will go into a place and be like, right, some people will want this, and that I don't argue with it. They'll go, I want to know if I do this and this and this, I go here and here and here. I think in some areas, that might be true. But I think for me, it's about, well, I might go this way, but there's an opportunity over there, or spotting the opportunities. So, for example, we never had an employer brand, and I was like, okay, well, let's create one. The intranet needed moving, and everyone was like, I don't think we'll ever do that, Matt. But we did. I didn't really want to do it. It was a tough job, but I did it. You know, it was one of those where you're like, it will work and it will be good. Oh, you know, we'll never start a YouTube channel and maybe we won't do a podcast. We are.
Here we are.
Yeah. So I think it's not that people are directly saying, no one's ever saying you can't do it though. I'm just thinking that's an opportunity that I definitely want to take on. No, you don't get that. You come up with an idea if it's the right time, because there's loads of factors, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Budget. What are we? What's happening in the market? Is it the right format to get it out? This is absolutely like, you know, this is now going to a whole new audience that probably have never even thought about Next as a brand to work for. You know, so I would just say the best way to progress and stay here and grow is just look for those opportunities. And then along the way, you will build relationships. You will gain so much knowledge. Because I bet, you know, like, I don't know, throw a question back to you, like, since you've been here and you talk to people, do you just learn more and more and more each day?
Yeah. You kind of talk to people that you never really would expect to sometimes. So yeah, you definitely do learn a lot.
Yeah.
And I have done thus far, so I can't complain. No. To be honest.
And it's a good point you say there, like how you kind of put in this environment, you know, I speak to so many people. I'm speaking to people like in technology. They're talking to me about like mainframe or payment.
We know about mainframe.
Yeah. Hey, it underpins a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
it underpins a lot of stuff.
I think without mainframe, we are nothing basically.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we need it.
Yeah.
It's just very old.
I always said it looks like teletext.
Massively. Yeah. I remember teletext.
I kind of like that though.
Yeah.
I only just remember teletext really.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make you feel.
No, I remember. I must have had maybe 4 or 5 years of it, if that.
I'm trying to. Yeah, I think I might have still been in primary school.
Yeah, the only thing I ever remember was like getting like football score updates on it. That's it. That is literally it. But that was like it was at the same time. I mean, some people will massively get this reference. Other people will be like, "What are you talking about?" It was at the same time we used to have dial-up broadband.
Nope.
So honestly,
no clue.
No clue.
Nope.
Right. So literally, you had a phone line. You had a house phone.
Yeah.
So you know what we know.
I know what a landline is. I do know what one of them is.
We know what a landline is, right? So we've got a landline, and if you're on the landline, the computer and the landline and the internet line were the same.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to go on it, no one could use the phone. So someone would pick the phone up.
But if you wanted to go on the internet,
the phone was like using the line. So it literally be like, and then when you
that's inconvenient, isn't it?
Oh, massively. And when you dial up, it would literally dial up and it'd be like, and like horrible. And it'd be a horrible noise. And honestly, it was, and now you think, Jesus, what? And that wasn't even around for that long.
Yeah. To be honest. No, go on. Carry on.
No, things just accelerated so quickly.
I think I'm hearing that, I'm a bit grateful that you take these things for granted, don't you? When it's at your fingertips and it's easy.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't really think about it.
What was I then? Now I was like 13, 14.
Yeah.
Then. So but that was mental, and like literally I'd sit like, and you can imagine those old school white greyish monitors with the horrible, not like the sleek things you get today, where everyone's walking around with like MacBooks or tablets or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
even our phones are they're powerful nowadays.
So powerful.
It's like if somebody told you back then when you were doing the dial-up broadband, if somebody said to you, "Oh, there's going to be Wi-Fi in a few years," you'd be thinking, "What are you on about?"
Yeah.
Now look at where we are.
Exactly. It's nuts, isn't it? So it's I can't even remember how we got onto this, but
neither. That's all right.
no, it's fine. It's good, but it's definitely something that I think, all the different people I speak to.
Yeah, that was it. That's what. Yeah.
And then we got onto mainframe, but all the different people you speak to, it's just you're just like, I probably wouldn't even approach you in the street.
Yeah,
but I'm going to talk to you here, and actually brings you out a bit as well, doesn't it? Brings you out your shell, your comfort zone, which
definitely.
I think is important.
That's probably a massive thing. You're definitely out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
But I think part of growing is being in that comfort zone, because if you kind of cocooned and like, I don't know, like left in this little box, you don't really get to experience a lot. So you will just be stagnant. You won't really learn, you won't really grow. So definitely it's good being uncomfortable. I think that's probably where we get the best out of ourselves, actually.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, comfort is a very bad place to be in for me. Personally,
it's easily done. I get it totally, because we've all been there, I'm sure. But when you start doing them things that make you feel uncomfortable, you're like, actually, that wasn't so bad.
Oh yeah.
When you come out the other side of it, anyway.
In anything that's a little bit more difficult, I guarantee you will come out way better. Way better.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think on the back of the answer you gave me about looking for the next thing, if you are looking for the next thing and you present it, how do you then deal with the setbacks? Because I'm sure you might have got knocked back a couple of times.
Yeah, loads.
Couple of cuts and bruises. How did you...
I just never take it personal. It's like, especially here, like if everyone's got an opinion, styling.
Oh, it's massively subjective.
Styling,
massively subjective.
Even more so, but everyone's got an opinion. And I think it's just, sometimes it can be like, look, we just don't believe in that idea. And then it's kind of, the only thing there would be, okay, maybe I've not done my best in terms of trying to showcase the idea or convince people. Other times it's just like, we just can't do that at the moment for X, Y, Z, what it might be.
Yeah.
And other times it might be, just come back with a refined one.
Fair.
You just got to be I think really the main thing with any setback is you just got to be able to take it and be adaptable to it. Like this podcast, I wanted to do, we've done a year's worth now, which is great, but I probably wanted to do it 2 years prior, but I couldn't do it on my own. So you just got to be a bit patient with it.
Yeah.
It would have been great, but we'll get to where we want to get to. Yeah. I think that's the thing. You've got to be a bit adaptable and you've got to have the patience for it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good. Thanks for that.
Well, it's been very good chatting to you.
Thank you.
I don't think I've ever had a guest that's asked me so many deep questions.
Sorry,
so.
won't happen again.
No, I love it. If anyone's listening, I'm more than open to that. So
ask questions.
But thank you for coming on.
No,
it's been
appreciate
awesome,
it. Thank you, man. Thank you.